we assume this goes towards the mid lane nowadays.
Yeah, we generally see that these things tend to end up, you know, kind of going towards those kind of setups here. But Weibo, not to be waiting around right now. Got the Jayce, got themselves the Lulu and the Zeri. They're very, very happy with what they've got here. And honestly, the Viego for Ray, as we can see the top cap, what has CB LOL done? They have inadvertently changed the course of absolutely everything in League of Legends history. Never mind about them winning tournaments. The CB LOL will always have an influence. But I was going to say, like, for Wei, the Viego has very much been such a huge comfort pick for him. We saw it so much last year. It's something that he is incredibly proficient on, and honestly, with the way the jungle has gone, it does make more sense that he is kind of moving back into that kind of, you know, again, very good team fight skirmisher.
Yeah, particularly with the Elise, the Maokai kind of being either, well, very heavily nerfed. We're now on, you know, we're on to 13.4 nowadays. Being able to bring out this Viego again has been very, very important because there are some picks which would kind of lock him out of the game, which are just not quite as prominent on this patch. Locking that in with an Annie as well. Annie is probably the strongest mid-jungle 2v2 champion on the patch. There's still some flex potential here. Could be going down towards Ming. You can see stuff like the Aphelios Annie as a lane as well, being quite powerful. But that would allow the Gragas then to be a double flex as well between top and mid lane. So RNG with a lot of flexibility. But if you lock in Viego Annie, that is incredibly high kill pressure. If this Jayce goes towards mid lane, doesn't really have any ways to outplay that 2v2. Of course, TheShy also plays that champion, but now Weibo have to really start thinking about whether they want to lock this Jayce into a very dangerous situation in mid-jungle 2v2.
Let's wait and see. So we kind of see where the next few bans are going to be going there. With the Zeri and Lulu locked in, makes a lot of sense in my head that you're going to be start focusing a lot more in that bot lane. But on the other side of this, that is 5 jungle bans. And if you include the Wukong, that's 6. As we go see now from RNG.
That's ridiculous.
Really
and then one
heavily
locked in.
focusing.
That's 7 taken away.
Yeah. I mean, straight up it is. It's 7 taken away off the board. So we're going to see what Karsa's got in his back pocket here. Maybe for a little bit of a Nidalee. Wouldn't be untoward. Maybe a Lilia as well.
Here, actually.
That
pretty good versus Viego. Pretty good versus Gragas.
Sorry, there was a bear in the crowd. It was terrifying.
What? I actually missed that. God.
It was just like staring very angrily at me. I was just like, oh, I'm sorry, sir.
Gala's Kaisa. I love this. I love this. Bring it back to the draft. Gala's Kaisa. This guy is one of the greatest Kaisas of all time in this match where it is kind of the RNG of old versus the player that made RNG, Xiaohu, facing off against each other. You get to see some of these huge picks come out. Wei's Karsa, Gala's Kaisa as well, and Xiaohu going back towards his Ryze. It is so much of the old, so much of the new. Karsa is going to go towards that Poppy, multiple dashes to go through. RNG surely should have seen this one coming with the amount of bans left and seeing what Karsa has been playing in this split. Early pressure from both these junglers, but lots of abilities to start fights here, Oisin.
Lots of ways to get things going in this game. I think Weibo are going to be pretty happy with the way things have panned out for themselves, and with the Nautilus locked in as well. I think the Poppy has a fairly decent chance of having a significant impact. Stops the Gragas from getting in, can stop the Kaisa and the Nautilus as well. The only thing it can't stop is a Flash Timbers. I was going to say a Flash Timbers that cannot stop. So great kind of, you know, setup here for Weibo, but they've got themselves an opportunity now to see what RNG can bring upon this, because I look at a lot of these lanes, great, you know, kind of setup here for the jungle. If Wei can get into bot lane, mid, top, wherever it is, and they can set up with a little bit of preemptive CC, there could be massive fireworks here in the early game for RNG.
Weibo's comp, very hard to play, actually. They have very little setup. You have Poppy alone, who is your engage. You are relying on
playoffs. They need to just try and make as many games they possibly can. I will say the positive thing for them today is that even if they do get a 2-1 victory, they will have a better game difference score than Team WE, and they should just eke themselves back into those playoff contention marks. But only this game and 3 more after it, we are starting to hit the business end of the LPL Spring 2023 season. And we'll wait to see now what Weibo and RNG can deliver for us as the Gyos go forward.
Coming back out onto the Rift, does really feel like this game for Weibo is all about what Xiaohu can do. Partly the way that he impacts the rest of the map. About it in his pre-game interview. It is more than the 1v1 against Xiaohu. It's a priority. It's about affecting the rest of the map. And actually, that leads into a great conversation about the top players. TheShy, Breathe, both very notable carry players in the past. Breathe, however, not finding nearly as much success on a lot of these carries compared to last year, because he doesn't have someone like Xiaohu being that third summoner spell towards that top side. TheShy, of course, has the Jayce. Second game of that in spring 2023 for him. Of course, one of the most powerful carry top laners of all time with Legends. That Ryze, if he gets towards top lane, could start things off well for him.
Definitely start something off. I like how you brought up the Jayce, not even the Jayce, TheShy on the Jayce. And we got a lot of question marks. the Jayce, TheShy, the Xiaohu. But
that's the weirdest name for a Narnia book I've ever heard.
But I was gonna say that, like, we've been having a lot of question marks about TheShy. Especially this split. I think one of the games he went last in one of his 3, I think he went like 1-16 or something like that. It was.
He had a string of games where they somehow won games, but he had like 0 kills for 3-4 games. So it's a very long streak of him eating a lot of deaths for his team.
Yeah, and I think that it does kind of bring into question, as we can see, Wade.
Wade?
I love this. I love this. He does this all the time. He does this all the time. He flashes over because he knows that
he's coming top as well.
Oh, Karsa knows that something's going to be happening, and now you've just lost your flash. Karsa covering TheShy on the top side. They know their tricks, because guess what? Xiaohu did them with you last year.
About to say, oh, fighting the bot side as well.
Right in the bot side, we do see the heal coming out here for Chris. The Ghost was popped there by Gala. Oh, 80 carries coming out fairly decently, but the support's not so much. And summoner for summoner, nothing else really. Actually, a lot of summoners built by RNG, as you can see Karsa just being an absolute nuisance right now, stopping anything from happening. This is devastating for the Gragas. He wants to be able to mitigate this top side, but he's losing so much to this wave just to the tower.
Good perk. It's on Chris though. He's got higher HP.
Not anymore. He's
Not anymore.
Chunked out fairly significantly, and this is the Kaisa Nautilus has worked so well for Gala and Ming, and so many historically, it's just having that engage with that shotgunning, kind of power can give you so much kill potential.
Yeah, I love that we're seeing these champions on these players. Jokes about the Narnia thing, but you know that whole quote about "do not cite to me the old magics I was there when they were written." Way doing this crazy early jungle pattern. Karsa did that first for RNG, believe it or not. Wait, he was the era after Karsa, but Xiaohu and his jungler were some of the real architects of that crazy early play. On the other side, though, Gala and Ming bring out some of their own old tomes. Kaisa and Nautilus has been around for a very long time at this point, doing very well in this bot lane. You see that Cull's being picked up for both these bot lanes, though. It's not like you have forced Light into too bad of a situation. You forced out one summoner away from Chris, and you've lost to several of your own. As the early game starts, though, it's very important to focus what happens in these early levels. We said that RNG, they can start fights, but Weibo have their strong lanes to play through all the same.
That's the thing. Like, we talked about how Weibo have a very difficult to execute composition. Pretty nice fancy feat. Actually, probably would have bottomed down below half HP had he eaten that accelerated shot blast, but it doesn't mean that Weibo aren't able to do it. This is the thing, when you have a composition like this, which has, the elements of being very difficult to make work for your team, it can be a bit daunting to say, look, can you actually do it, or is it just going to be easier execution here for RNG? But it does mean you might have opportunities to be a little bit more aggressive, get more opportunities to make something work for you should, the opportunity arise. And that's what I'm looking for Weibo. I'm looking to see what they can do to maybe fake out a little bit of what RNG are going for. It's going to be very textbook, straightforward for what RNG want to do, and Weibo are going to have to try and work around that.
Karsa here to shield the crash into the wave for Light and Chris. You see that Ming, last minute or two, been hanging about in these side brushes, trying to look for a hook through the wave, see if we can get one of these other bursty plays. This is, of course, new age of Kaisa has been lethal tempo. If you end up starting a fight after you've actually managed to stack up a little bit, especially against something like the Lulu, Zeri in lane, you actually get a couple of free auto attacks as opposed to against lane against something like a Caitlyn or a Varus, which is very hard to get in on top of a lot of ability to take winning elongated fights. So Gala, Ming, still lots of kill pressure to work around. Xiaohu not actually able to get out of lane, and Angel, though this isn't going to be a kill, just stops Xiaohu from pushing out and affecting the map. He's hit level 6, has that global ultimate available to him.
Has the first strike as well, so Angel able to get a fair bit of gold off of that regardless. As we can see, Xiaohu actually comes out the better, funny enough, of this particular trade. Tipper is going to do a fair bit of zoning control, like a bouncer. You don't have to go home, son, but you can't stay here.
Oh, guess where Karsa is.
He's back up towards that top side. This is something we haven't really seen from teams in the LPL, focusing in that top lane, but they want to try and get Breed down before he hits that level 6, where it becomes very difficult to lock him out. So nice little bit of poke comes in. They're going to look to try and fully confirm onto him now. They're going to get a nice little bit of poke. There is the ult. Yeah, hit 6, and that means he's able to back himself away. Like I said, they really wanted to try and kill him before that explosive cast was available.
I was wondering about the mana, wondering about what that XP was like. Of course, he had biscuits and inventory to regen some of that mana from the tower as well, to get an instant burst of it. But Breathe gets away with that one. Does mean that he doesn't have ultimate, not that much HP. Xiaohu, that first global ult of the game, is going top.
Yeah, Xiaohu loves just roaming around with this. Will need to get a little bit closer if he wants to try and find the Rune Prison, but flash burn by Breathe. He still keeps himself relatively healthy and alive. Will lose probably about another wave or so to this tower, but still keeping himself alive. No first blood going over just yet, and first dragon went over to RNG, so they're getting what they wanted.
They are. Wei is in place for a cross map, but with the vision there, and some is being available for Weibo. I'm not sure this is going to be the most successful cross map option. Spot him out again. Ming has flash. Commit. Doesn't look like it.
It's a big wave though being denied. Finally, Light gets up to claim a little bit of it. I'm gonna be real with you right now. It's so strange seeing Xiaohu going up against Wei, Gala, Ming. It just feels it feels weird. I don't like it. I decided that I'm a Xiaohu fanboy. I did love Gala as well. Gala giving some of the best Kaisa performances we have ever seen, and it's something that has always just kind of been a pocket pick of his. And with the meta going the way it's going, it's definitely an opportunity to be able to pick something up like that, but definitely not the most valuable of ADCs at the moment. You definitely need to be a lot more aggressive given how the meta is right now.
Yeah. Well, I do think that Kaisa has the ability to be very, very valuable at 2-item spikes. We saw that LNG BLG. We saw Kaisa come out in that game, one of that game, I think it was the second game of that series, but we saw that some of the differences between what Kaisa used to do with something like the Phantom Dancer, and then now more modernly, the Navori kick blades coming in second, so strong on that Kaisa. Gives you that ability to really hit the mid game strong, and actually you do get a slightly earlier spike than something like the Zeri, who sometimes needs a second or third item realistically to come in. If Kaisa ends up getting that Q evolved and that Navori quick blade, which of course, it empowers your passive, it empowers your Q, and it gives you way more Qs as well. It gives you so much ability to run through fights early into the game, so watch for Gala to reach those points of power. He will very much be a person to watch.
Karsa does not get the steal. Both junglers now level 6, so might have a little bit of a fight around this Rift Herald. Remember, Dragon did go over to RNG and get the first 2 objectives of the game. It would be very, very good to kind of keep their laning phases going. And again, they're gonna, it's very difficult, for Weibo to really make anything happen with the anti-tippers available. It's just not really possible.
And the Nautilus, because you have so many ways to get engaged onto. In fact, Xiaohu is getting engaged on right here.
Yeah, they're gonna flash in on him. Xiaohu flashes away. Have a little bit of a shield. The Keeper's verdict shall be kept adjourned for the moment, as Karsa does let that cool down and come back in. But Ming does have his dredge line to keep him relatively safe. They don't have the damage for the moment, but now Gala in this backside, maybe looking a bit more aggressively. Knows that Chris will be the very... I was going to say, we'll make a pretty big snack if he's able to kill him off, but doesn't commit the ultimate to make that one work. So the only thing that was lost really was the flash from the support trade for Xiaohu. Now everyone just kind of resets themselves again.
But you can see, just about to punt him away. Try just about against, doesn't manage to get on the other side of that one. But this is what we just saw in the last minute. What we're going to have to see Weibo be very, very wary of. They cannot enter River easily. Every time you walk into an area which is contested, you are going to have to be very close to your own champions, kind of group up, make sure you're ready to respond, because RNG have so many more tools to engage onto you and follow up on you. Lots of mobility with Gragas coming into the play. The resets, of course, being very dangerous from Wei as well. If you ever get to the point where Kaisa is involved in the fight first, Wei will probably lose that fight. So credit to them, at least for not giving over early kills so far, not giving RNG easier chances to snowball. But the longer that this goes on without RNG finding a fight, the more you have to be worried that TheShy actually becomes a real factor in this top side. See him already bullying out Breed. That Jayce actually going to be very impactful because there's not a huge amount of sustain on the other side for RNG. That poke is going to stick if it lands.
Yeah, Breed's got a little bit himself, but that passive is not going to help you out a huge amount in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, Angel really appreciates that sustain for the Gragas, keeping the anti-top.
That's what I'm saying. It's a very selfish passive, you know? Not having to get anything else going. But now Weibo feels strong and feel powerful right now.
If you had like a futures market for Gragas, but it's just you're allowed to buy a drink for someone else, like you kind of shout them for that one time.
That'd be kind of cute. That'd be kind of a cute little interaction.
Gragas with a bar tab.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good name for it as well.
Yeah,
you could totally make a Gragas character that's more like a support than an engaged tank. That'd be awesome.
Thing is, I do actually like seeing bursty Gragas. I like seeing that a little bit more. And he is actually going for a little bit more burst. You see that Catalyst Surveillance coming out, which means that it is going to be the Rod of Ages towards that top side, splitting the difference between AP and tank. I know that some people have some issues with this build because it takes a while to come online and you're not really kind of getting the best of either world. I think it's fine in a game like this, though, when you're kind of comboing onto a lot of players whilst also not being the main tank. I think it's fine. Really is going to be on Gala, though, to really follow up what his solo laners are doing. Try and get those resets available for way after that point.
Well, Dragon is live and ready. Xiaohu seeing if he can maybe get her back around this side of the map, but he's going to walk straight into Ming. Hello, my old friend. Can he get away from him? That's the question. The dredge line is just very well set up, and the keeper's verdict was just a little too short. First blood goes to Wei as Ming makes it personal.
It makes it personal. RNG take down their old teammate, their old general, as the first blood of this series. 5 and 7 be damned. Out of playoffs bracket currently, be damned. The RNG are here to play, and this is why we pick up this kind of matchup. We saw already a couple of other kind of those passing of the eras, the grudge matches. Then, you know, we don't actually want to imply that completely to these teams. To us, it's a grudge match. We saw like LNG versus EDG with Scout playing against his old team, and in this game, Ming, the first one to sniff out his old teammate. Wei comes around the corner as well. Xiaohu tries to get the inside track back to mid lane, but this is really fun to see because a lot of the way that RNG used to play with Xiaohu was around these little vision traps with Ming getting into the right position. Someone like Xiaohu getting into the right position and then punishing you for not having the correct read on the Fog of War. RNG, can they keep that up though? It is just that one kill. They have themselves the 2 dragons though. It's going to be very important to track as we head later into the game on the Infernal list.
Look, TheShy's having a great time on this top side with that first blood. Those 2 dragons. RNG having much easier time. It goes back to the ease of execution. You know, you're looking at a Nautilus that can roam around with something like a kill kind of jungler like the Viego has got a bit of an execute on his ultimate. So it's just easier to get these things to work. It's easier to make these things stick, especially when you're able to kind of move forward. It's so aggressive.
On that note, what we just saw there in the last 30 seconds was Xiaohu get a pink ward towards the top side of the map, Ming just clearing another control ward towards that bot side. I keep calling them pink wards. It's been so many years since they've actually been pink wards. Anyway, the control wards, that vision control in River, so important to look for. RNG, as we said, if they are in a position where they're playing around Fog of War, when they're playing around contested areas of the map, they have much better ways to punish Weibo from walking into them, from walking into areas where they don't have vision. So watch where these wards are going. Angel, Wei, Ming, that jungle mid-support kind of vision trio, that early game macro trio. So important to see how much they can do for RNG. You've got a number of minutes up until the next dragon comes around, but RNG still securing bot side vision. Can we do the same for top side and stop someone like Xiaohu ulting towards that? I feel like that's the next big play for Weibo. This Ryze, very important for their next play of the game.
Well, TheShy does his job. 30 CS up. Laning phase completed, and he has won it. Congratulations to him. But does mean that top side does become a little bit more elongated. And as I say that, you can see Angel moving in here. Maybe they look for the explosive cast. They're gonna. Oh dear. He is almost certainly going to die. Explosive cast is good, but TheShy, literally as I said that this lane just got a little longer, he overextends.
And he's looking for that play as the rest of his team is resetting. Now, Xiaohu had done the hard work of kind of, well, I say the hard work, he'd done the work of getting the vision on the side of the map, which RNG were not contesting as the Butler goes flying. The absolute middle of nowhere and back. But TheShy kind of misses the memo in regards to where the rest of his team are. Maybe he's just greeding a little bit for the extra wave, seeing what he could get for free. It wasn't for free though. Angel gets that onto the map. However, Weibo, with those resets, still in position to take this second Herald. Very interested to see what they do with that. If they can open up mid lane outer turret, that's obviously very important to getting a lot of vision into the other side of the map. However, it might be more valuable for them to open up 2 long side lanes if they can take down this bot lane outer turret, which would allow TheShy some more inroads to push in and start poking out when it comes around to these next couple of dragons, which RNG will definitely have their eyes on.
Absolutely, and you see where RNG are able to kind of make the next play, minute 45 till the next dragon spawns, and RNG are I feel like they're in total control, apart from the CS lead or CS deficit in top side. CS leading mid, CS leading jungle, bot lane. It's all coming up trumps. They're getting items way before their counterparts. You even see Angel with 5 stacks in his row versus the 1 of Xiaohu. So really showing that they're just having a much better time of it right now. And this is a Weibo that is, again, you know, this is not what we're expecting from this team, from these names. We need to see them kind of come up and be a lot more accounted for. They can turn it on for some of the bigger teams, but now RNG are kind of just manhandling them around the map.
Now, it might be an oversimplification, but the way that we tend to look at Weibo is that they play to the level of their opponent. That does mean at the very top of the table, but sometimes they've slipped up against lesser teams as well. RNG actually playing out this game fairly well. I like their composition. I like the way that they've handled their vision control so far. It's been fairly quiet, 2 kills to RNG. You kind of expect them to have the better of the early kills because they have those ways to start those fights to pick people off. But with that in mind, how much can Weibo really do from behind TheShy? Not actually being given free reign to push out on this map. See, that Angel matching them right now. Where are Weibo really going to get their playmaking opportunities from? It does feel like it has to be Xiaohu on these global realm orbs. TheShy, he's not safe. He doesn't have people hovering towards the side of the map.
Just have a ward just to spot out a little bit there, but you can see RNG are just baiting him in, saying, go on, go for the outplay. Make it happen. Go on. You know? Give it a shot. See what really goes down. But now Xiaohu hovering down towards the bot side, perfectly spotted out, as is Crisp. So RNG, great vision control in this bottom half of the jungle with the dragon spawning in a couple of seconds. Like Xiaohu thinks he's being sneaky, and you ain't being sneaky to nobody. Angels know perfectly well that you are over to this side. He's gonna probably be forced to flash away here. The Realm Orb ain't gonna do anything as just trying to back it away. But again, Dragon live.
Dragon's live. Breathe coming down, doesn't even need to blow that teleport. The Herald also not used from Weibo. They would have loved to use it. Well, they would have loved to use that a little earlier. They're using it towards bot side right now, but how much is this realistically gonna force RNG into a bad position?
Well, turret should fall on bot side, as we can see now. Ming does land the dredge line. He goes straight for the fight. Xiaohu flashes away, as does Karsa. RNG controlling the fight right now. Still have the explosive cast. Did lose the tippers and the Heartbreaker, but you can see these health bars are so low. Weibo can't really put Karsa in a bad position. Explosive cast! Not quite able to catch anybody out, but a third Dragon, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Do you remember the 21st night of September? RNG in total control right now of everything on this map.
No, I absolutely don't remember that. I'm really bad at maybe the days of the week, honestly, lose track of that one. But Weibo, they lose track of really what they can do in that fight. It feels like they lose track of the map and the run up to that objective. They hold the Herald a little too long in my eyes. They managed to get the open side lanes in that bot side, but they're sitting against Soul Point right on the third Dragon. Really awkward, very early stacking.
Oh, wow, how did he miss that?
That's a very good question, but even with Tibbers not really getting high value, with the Keeper's Verdict on cooldown, it's very hard for Weibo to kind of take a second crack at this. They don't have the ability to really force these plays. You can see their lack of engagement. They need to wait until they can get huge damage out of this Jayce to destabilize the health bars. Otherwise, RNG, they can keep taking these fights for forever and a day. They're on Soul Point. Next Dragon comes up. Weibo can't afford to have that lack of damage show up again.
And Angel's going to have Death Cap by that time. Like, Angel's going to have so much burst damage available to him. And he didn't have to use the stopwatch either. So this is just more and more power, more and more pressure being applied by RNG, and Weibo don't have really an answer.
Also a chance that we're going to have a 3-level advantage in mid lane, because you're going to have the Rod of Ages ticking over for Angel. And you look at that timer up in the top left-hand corner, that's 3 more stacks for Xiaohu's Rod of Ages against the max stacks of Angel. You called it out being an earlier Rod of Ages. Sometimes that can actually be useful in regards to giving you a higher level up, levels 13 to 14, very different from level, say, 15 to 16, if that's what it comes to in the next few minutes. I don't think Xiaohu's actually going to go close to even that, but Angel, so strong at this point in time, just maxed out that Rod of Ages.
Yeah, just maxed it out. Shy.
Don't want to be there.
Needs to mack away immediately. Had a ward, so plenty of vision control around for him. But yeah, I mean, it's as close to a perfect game coming out from RNG. Yeah, they lost 2 towers, but like, they're not losing any fights. They're approaching these lanes very appropriately. I love the buddy system they've got now with Ming and Wei. Nobody's been there. And Gala, funny enough, has had an incredibly quiet time, but he's at 233 CS in 21 minutes. He is massive in his own right.
He's the shark in the water. You hear the music. Angel's the one who's chopping the doors on the top side, though.
He's looking for something. Wei is sprinting here. A TP gets committed by Breed, as this is going to be attempt at a 5v5. Everyone ready to throw fists, but no one wants to be the first one to do it. Everyone's kind of posturing right now and saying, look, we're ready. Are you ready? And they're asking back, are you ready? And everyone's just kind of like, you know, waiting.
The thing is that RNG are always ready, because again, they have so many more ways to start these fights. Weibo, credit where it's due, not giving easy fights over to RNG, but RNG is still taking enough fights for themselves. Ming puts forward, just kills a minion with it, not actually timing that one right. Breed doesn't have flash for this play. 2 minutes until the dragon starts. It's just about mid lane pressure. Both these towers being hammered on. Gala almost on his way to 2 items as well. Next couple of backs. For that big fight, you're expecting 2 items to be coming out of all of these big carries. Xiaohu, I'm not actually sure if he's going to have the gold for that one. He's not going to have his max run of ages, as we've been saying. I'm not even sure he's going to have himself that Seraphs. This is the last big reset you're going to see before this dragon fight. The very quick blades picked up for Gala. There is the Bloodthirster on the other side for the Zeri, but really, second item spike on Gala. If he ever gets to get a 3-point auto attack, we've seen what Gala can do on this champion in years past. He has been at the very top of the world on this champion. And against his old teammate, his old captain in Xiaohu, he's in fine position to deal him a defeat.
Oh, only 7 stacks now for Xiaohu as he does find himself 2 levels down. Death Cap finished up here for Angel. He is at an incredibly powerful point. If he finds that ultimate, even onto a Bloodthirster or another Shield Bow Zeri, will just do so much damage instantly in the blink of an eye. And then has the stopwatch in the back pocket as well, just to make sure. Mid lane being prioritized right now by Weibo. It is being answered by RNG. 35 seconds now. We can see how these teams are set up. Nymaera. It looks like Weibo, they want to try and get the poke down, but it's not really sticking.
Angel and Ming, you got the flashes on them both. Those are the engaged tools. Weibo, they're getting caught.
There's Ming, gets Karsa down by 1/3 of his HP. There's the explosive cast, doesn't really do a lot. Doesn't even break the shield, to be perfectly honest, of light. Now you've lost yourself 2 big key ultimates, but can you kind of move forward into this? Ming will not have a problem sacrificing his life if it means they get a kill off this. Mid lane will be sacrificed. The dragon hasn't even spawned.
Weibo's sold the ultimate TheShy, important flash away. How much more engaged have they got?
I don't know, Karsa! He goes in and he almost dies immediately! Now Xiaohu can really put in some work. Poppy is dead.
Breathe.
And that's going to be huge for them. Breathe. Looking for more movement there, trying to see if he can get over the wall. Not quite able to get it, but you don't have a jungler now, Weibo. Karsa went too deep, too fast.
That's important. That last shock blast, incredibly important. Gala, as a player, loves holding onto that Kaisa ultimate and doing that lethal blow towards the end of a fight. He doesn't have the HP to do this anymore. Having to back up. And Weibo, their composition is so hard to execute, but they found themselves actually into a winning position. Dragon fight not quite over just yet, though.
Poppy going to be spawning back in 3 seconds, but not quite at the fight. Ming back on the map and running down towards this dragon. This is going to be it. You don't have a smite. Can you get the damage down? Xiaohu moves forward menacingly. They're going to jump onto him. Explosive cast straight onto him. Xiaohu will not survive, and Gala shotguns him back to the gray screen. Now we're going to see Gala putting in more work as he takes out Light. He's going to try and take out TheShy as well. One more auto attack, and he finishes him off. Gala is the carry. Gala gets a quadra, and Gala on Kaisa does it again.
It's the champion he made his name on, and Gala has not faded one bit against his old teammate Xiaohu. Takes what could be the deciding fight in this game. 4 kills to the Kaisa, and a Dragon Soul looking like it is inevitably going over. Karsa, no flash, has a blast cone. What can he do?
I was going to say he has a blast cone and a dream. It's going to be a hex flash. Goodbye, sir. I was going to say, you need to hit that blast cone there, Ming, and he does it. Infernal Soul to RNG, and they are getting themselves further and further ahead of this Weibo Gaming. But let's have a look at this, because again, it all starts around this poke.
Yeah, it's all around this poke. Just before the Gala had been chunked out, but it wasn't enough to completely force him back, just to manage to regen. And Gala finds the moment to thread the needle. Weibo looking to punch back, though. Desperation Baron.
Yeah, they're going to look to try and get the fan. They need to get this for themselves right now. Chris taking already so much damage. There's the explosive cast, doesn't land on the Chris. Actually, it does. It forces out his ultimate there. It's going to be the keeper's verdict to keep him away. Weibo make the call. Weibo get themselves the Baron, and Weibo get themselves a lifeline.
I love Xiaohu's style League of Legends. They are even in gold, but they're down that soul point. That is a huge game-breaking moment. But Xiaohu has forever been king of 2 things. Judging Fog of War and playing around it, and then also understanding when resets are coming in to punish somewhere on the map. At this point, knows that the fight was lost just beforehand, but RNG, they waited a while to finish off that dragon. Because they'd waited that while, it means that they can actually get back onto them and do a revenge Baron just on the other way back. They have enough damage to rush it down. How much can they do with this buff, though? They can't afford to give over an easy fight. They need a strong Baron power play to take control of this game.
And the big thing as well is that they were able to make that work with the champions they have, but they also made it work because it wasn't a fight. It was a straight up, we need to take this now. We cannot take a full 5v5. Yeah, smoke and mirrors, and now Breed, thinking about his own smoke and mirrors, does not have the flash, so will be relying solely on his belly bop to get the bomba down.
It doesn't have that flash, as you were saying. Has stopwatch, which means he can play a little bit more fast and loose with these plays. Infernal Soul, though, how much damage that can add in. You've got a lot of range to work with RNG in terms of your engage. Even something like the Nautilus hook blocking that Infernal Soul, a little bit awkward. Just the ability to add damage on. There's a lot. Baron off that 100 Q do this. TheShy's caught out.
I mean, TheShy's caught and he's killed. They're going to get the resets now in for Wei. Can they keep pushing forward this? It's difficult into a Ryze and a Lulu, but Breed is still tentatively looking for a little bit more. They're going to see if they can maybe get a hook in here from Ming. Doesn't have a splash anymore as he used it to get the kill off TheShy. Wei and Breed, they're on in, they're pushing them back. Be careful though, they don't know exactly where the numbers are. They don't know exactly what's happening. Now they do. They know exactly where everyone is. The Keeper's Verdict is gone. They don't have that anymore. They used it. Karsa didn't land on anyone. There's the flash. There's the belly bop. They get the explosive cast down and Karsa shall fall. Gala now turning his attention onto the enemy AD carry. Gets the Immortal Shield Bow proc. And Xiaohu, the last real remaining defense of this tower. RNG are just ripping Weibo apart right now.
They're playing the comp out so much more effectively than what Weibo can do. Weibo, they look scared because they have to be. They don't have any ways to engage. They have to play around these objectives, and RNG have had the better of them so far. Ming, Angel, catch out TheShy. TheShy feels like he's more to the composition of Weibo than that. Jayce, the damage that comes through is probably the only thing they've got to consistently play around at this point. Despite being a difficult at this point, Weibo actually managed to hold their battle lines pretty well. Breed had the flash, had that ultimate. Managed to catch light with that cleanse in order to get out of that CC. Means that he can't get punched right back into that team. And even then, this Zeri has 2.5 items, but it's not nearly the same damage output as the Kaisa at this point. That quadra kill absolutely catapulting Gala into control of this AD carry matchup.
Even as a QSS, Xiaohu gonna walk forward, get stunned up just a little bit. The extra burst with the Infernal Soul is just so powerful. So much you have to deal with. And TheShy, he didn't get a chance to, to flash away. He didn't get a chance to do anything because by the time the CC came down, straight up, like he has Merc Treads, but after that, what are you supposed to do? He does have push in the mid lane as Dragon not spawning for another 2 minutes. That's an Elder, so Weibo aren't out of this just yet. They can get a steal. They can turn this into a much worse situation for RNG.
Particularly when you have a Poppy ult, right? When you're going around objective steals, that Keeper's Verdict can be the difference maker. Of course, on the other side, you have the explosive pass to eject Karsa from the area. If it's pinpoint enough with that skill shot. We talked about this in the very last series. In fact, there are very few games that are so far gone that an Elder Steal can't make things really questionable. As it stands, of course, that Infernal Soul, the big difference in stats between the two teams, of course, that golden top as well. Puts RNG into the advantage, make no mistake. But that Smite Key isn't on point. They don't actually get a good positioning around this Elder. Not out of the just yet that Weibo could walk away with this one.
See where they're gonna go. That aspect of Dragon, very powerful if you want to try and make it work for you. It is going to be something that you feel can turn the tide of the game. Right now, everyone's just kind of hovering around. No one really wants to kind of fully commit to it just yet. They're just waiting for to push this. Good from RNG, though. They're kind of making Weibo really question what kind of angles they're looking for. Xiaohu has to flash away. Dredge line and from the depths have been popped now. Wei is actually very low. He would love to be able to eat that honey fruit if he can so find it, but right now they caught Breed a little bit, but he's going to go golden after using the explosive cast. They're going to try and corral him out. He's full AP, which means he has no doubt or no tankiness to survive. He's all damaged.
How did they
He goes down.
They have zero engage on this composition, and it's down 20 seconds until this Elder. Breed gets caught by Xiaohu Realm Warp Magic. 4v5 now for RNG. How are they going to pull this one off?
Weibo, I told you it's not over till it's over. Have to get Wei now back into this. And remember, Wei was chunked out quite significantly, so he's already lost about a third of his HP. This dragon can be tanked up pretty successfully. Oh, Xiaohu! He gets caught! Immediately though, the Keeper's Verdict brings everybody back out, and RNG cannot fight this anymore. They've lost Wei. They're going to look to try and keep going for this one here, but the dragon takes a fair while to really confirm it. 7,000, 8,000, resets back up to 8. You're going to see Gala moving forward. He gets flashed on. The flash comes in. Crisp actually has to use his heal. Look at these low health bars. The sixth man of RNG doing work right now. There's execution. Xiaohu gets killed. And now they're getting the resets in. They're going to be able to get light as well. Oh, it's all falling apart for the side of Weibo. They will get a triple kill onto RNG. The Elder Drake as well. And TheShy shall be the only one left standing.
That was such a tense series of plays. RNG knew that they could corral Weibo into the pit, force them down. TheShy is alive though. I think he has enough wave clear to clear out these last couple of waves. RNG cannot actually end the game off of this. We're still in this game, somehow, someway. Where the hell do we even start with this? Because just before this, Ryze was called out. This is the 4v5, but the HP bar is gone. And the lack of engage once again shows through for Weibo. It's very hard for them to close down the targets they need to. Weibo caught between a very difficult decision of not knowing if they have the time to kill the Elder, whether they die while the Elder was even falling. Now RNG claim that buff for themselves, claim even more gold. Get to walk back out onto the map, real force, take down that Baron, set themselves up for what should hopefully for them be a game-ending play. They wouldn't want this to go towards another objective after this point. Coming out of this point, Gala gets even more items, picks up a Bloodthirster to his name.
I mean, Gala and that last fire, I really do hope we get a replay of it because he just positions himself so perfectly right in front of the door. Classic that would be the exit for Weibo, and just kind of says, look, you got to all in on me or you got to just die because I'm just going to be able to burn you guys all down and come back again to live. It's a 6,000 gold lead, nearly 7. RNG with an Elder, with a Baron. We're going to be able to take most, if not all, of the standing gold. I will say, you know what, credit to TheShy where credit is due. Top lane tier 1 has not fallen. And I don't think it's going to fall in this game because there's just no way you're going to be able to get that push.
What's happening with the rest of the map? I think so, TheShy at this point, he talks about him being very important for Weibo because a lot of his damage will stick onto RNG. With the Bloodthirster on Gala, makes it harder for that to happen onto the main carry of RNG. One of the very best Kaisa players in history has Gala been, and he is now sat at 5-1-5, only dying at the very end of that last fight. Ming charging up that next flash. The hook. Doesn't land.
Nearly landed on the side. Karsa yet to pick up his mythic. Hasn't got it yet. Deadman's Play and the Warmogs, and not really going to come out from it. Ming is just pushing forward saying, if I land this hook, you're dead. There's nothing you can do. We still have the Elder for 15 more seconds, but only 15. Nexus turrets being hammered away at. Both the top and bottom lane are being pushed back. Gala takes a significant chunk to the face. There could be a TP on the backside here. You can see the ward there on the top left. But hard to do. Again, you just don't have engage.
Don't, and I mean, Gala has the red buff anyway. As soon as he's out of combat against that regen, as soon as he gets the auto attack, anything with Bloodthirst to start blocking him as well. Catching, trying to get a catch on the side again. Xiaohu not able to catch Breed this time though. This is basically Weibo's one play to make outside of Jayce's close landing. It worked just before the Elder spawned, but you can see how little opportunity Weibo have to actually close down these kills. Got an Enchanter support, very limited engage on Karsa as well, which has to be in a specific position to get that wall stun. Xiaohu doesn't particularly want to be flashing into that team composition either with the amount of CC that can be leveled at him. RNG, real credit to them for playing out this composition the way they have, but Weibo gave themselves a hard job, not being able to execute it.
Well, sorry, TheShy, I think I let them know that there was top lane turrets to be taken. It's going to be more and more gold, so we're looking at a 9,000 gold lead, nearly 10, but those shock blasts will put in work if they land on their targets. You cannot underestimate the power of a well-placed shock blast here from TheShy's Jayce.
But it has to be well timed as well, because if Gala is on a minion wave or has anything to auto-attack, then that basically means nothing. It's still very important that it lands. Now, Gala goes back to base, is full build, has Mercurial Scimitar, which of course, the way that Navori Quick Blades works, for those of you that, let's be honest, it's not that built an item before the last couple of patches, it increases your ability damage based on the amount of crit chances you have. You no longer get to have the Infinity Edge kind of crit, you can't go both of them, but now at 100% crit with the full itemization from Garlic, it's 20% heroic damage. Kaisa so ready to pop head even if they walk. Karsa walking into the enemy jungle. So, feels like the enemy jungle. Now
Does feel like the enemy jungle. You're losing so much of your base around the setup right now. Is speaking of setup, in a 30 till the next Elder Drake spawns. Maybe that could be the final nail in the coffin. However, we are getting later and later into the game, Nymaera. These death timers are getting longer and longer. Neither of these teams is fully home and set right now, but for RNG, you gotta feel like you have to win this game. There is no if, buts, or...
Yeah, this is just win now. If you can't win from this position, you can't win from any. And his realm warps might be the difference maker for Weibo. Breathe cannot afford to get caught out as he has done a number of times this game. Only the once actually really before that Elder, but still. That realm warp, watch out for that one. Xiaohu still a fair amount of damage at 3 items, level 16. Ryze, haven't managed to see too much of that from the mid laner of Weibo, but so far to shut down. It's been very hard for him to get into range. This heavy CC composition from RNG. RNG take control of the vision. Elder spawning in a minute. Absolutely do not want Weibo getting any sort of inroads into the bot side of the map if they can help it.
Like as well, you can see Light is going to have his final item. It's 30 seconds till this Elder Drake spawns though, but Weibo have yet to really find themselves a position to gain any kind of control back into their own jungle. Just make sure he's not taking too many shots of that shock blast or of that W, because he's already below half HP, and that's a dangerous spot to be in, especially with such a massive buff.
It's actually very dangerous for RNG to position like this. That's the hook though.
They're going up to Karsa. They're not going to be able to get him yet. They don't commit any ultimates. Wei and Karsa fully going for, but Karsa's got the Warmog, so he's going to heal back up fairly quickly off of this. And now Weibo, do they look for the Elder? Do they look for
Weibo,
mid lane?
You can't afford to give this one up. They're giving themselves an option to get
They're calling the bluff
as well. Very dangerous position for them.
They're calling the bluff. They're saying, you're not doing it. We know you're not doing it. So they're covering the mid lane and saying, look, we got the one minion and we're going to get something off of this. So the one minion that could, Ming misses his hook. TheShy gets engaged upon, and TheShy is dead. Keeper's verdict does separate this, but now it's turned into a little bit of a pinch. Double kill coming in for Gala as he dances around this fight. Look at him just putting in the damage. Gala gets another kill. Quadra kill for Gala. And you know what he wants. You know what he needs. He's going to push forward. And look for the magic kill.
Gala does it again against his old teammate in the grudge match of Xiaohu versus RNG. Gala finishes this game 10, 1, and 5.
Took a while, but Gala was refusing to let this one go. The inhibitor respawns to try and save the Nexus turrets. But Weibo were routed. Weibo never found an opportunity, and RNG decimated them. Gala with multiple triple, quadra, pentakills. He got them all.
Multiple times a sheet. That is a very impressive team fighting performance out of RNG in that game. It is tempered by the fact that Weibo picked a very difficult composition to play out. It felt like they lacked CC, they lacked engage, and as soon as they felt like they couldn't enter the river, they lacked a lot of options. They did use a couple of creative realm warps, but next game, when it comes into it, Weibo, we know they're a versatile team. They will have to show that versatility because the first string to their bow has snapped. You don't want to use that one again. That was very difficult to play, and they couldn't get enough out of it.
Yeah, I mean, like, as well as that, like, looking at the way the draft even went from game one, like, RNG came in with a plan, and they said, cool, we're going to ban 5 junglers against you. We're going to take away one of those junglers that we're going to want to play with, and then you're left with very little. Karsa honestly didn't do a hell of a lot on this Poppy, and it just felt like little by little, bit by bit, you could see that they're just kind of struggling, looking at themselves, going, how do we engage? How do we get around this? How do we try and stop Gala from doing whatever the hell he wants? Because in every single one of these team fights, you could see if the poke didn't land, Gala was free hitting. No one touched him. It was only really the shy poke that came out that really actually did any work to him.
And this feels like such classic Gala as well. When you think back to the MSI wins, which Gala has had, it feels like if the start of a team fight doesn't end with Gala dying, he ends the fight by killing you. He manages to save a lot of his summoners in very economic moments. He gets huge plays with his ultimate where he gets to actually look in for a quick assassination onto the Enchanter. Suddenly, actually, the Zeri can't play around an Enchanter. It's a huge difference. Maybe you can kill a key carry. Maybe you can start cleaning up these fights. And Gala, It is great to see him back on this champion. I personally love seeing it. I know that we're both fans of Xiaohu here as well. It's great to see his own champions. Gala puts his name right up there with champions like Kaisa. Oh my word, that damage! What?
Yeah, insane levels of coming out here. In fairness, TheShy was doing a significant amount, but that was all being healed up, shielded up. It was being landed onto the likes of the Nautilus, the Gragas. It wasn't being significant enough to make it, and I just gotta say, I'm so impressed by this turnaround from RNG. RNG came in with a very set plan. They knew exactly what they wanted to try and do, and they executed on it. They said, look, Gala, you're the carry, and we're not going to try and change that, because that's just how... even when Xiaohu was a part of the team, Gala, you know, in the great run in 2021, that was the team, that was the player that you look towards to be the big shining light for this team, and he does it so well.
But, you know, you still have 4 other members of that team on this Rift. This RNG roster, despite them losing what feels like their crown jewel, Xiaohu really struggled in that game as well. He tried as best he could, but it just felt like the tools available to Weibo were just not there. Can't say that one enough. Did feel like they denied a lot of the early skirmish opportunities to RNG. It was just a couple of opportunistic picks where Xiaohu, First Blood, kind of just walks over a patch of fog of war, gets punished for it. But game 2, I hope Weibo wake up from this. They really didn't give themselves the best opportunity to win that game right from the draft.
No, they really didn't. I have a weird stat for you as well, and that's probably why I'm very biased against TheShy a lot of the times, is that whenever I'm casting TheShy, he loses. I'm not even joking.
What?
Go check the stat. He has like a 22% win rate when I'm casting him. I don't know why, and it makes me very biased against it, because he seems to just not perform.
I suddenly need a website which has the stats for like various broadcasting stuff too.
I know, right?
That's great.
I am the curse for TheShy. I'm so sorry, TheShy faithful, but we're going to take it to a quick break. When we return, we're going to have game 2 of picks and bans very, very shortly.